Today, we got to talk about learning to say no. And I find this fascinating. There are two words in the alphabet, letter to letter, A to Z. The first one is hi. Second one is no, HIJKLMNOB. So they're two words, and they're the most transformative, in my opinion, in the entire language. Hi, the beginning of a relationship, and no, the setting of a boundary, the drawing of a line, the beginning of clarity. Our definition of clarity is the removal of undesirable options. You've heard it before. I'll say it again. It's so important to understand that the beginning of growth starts with no. And I've had a hard time saying no. You know what I mean? I've struggled for a long time to say no, to set boundaries. I was never taught how to do it. And the introduction to this theme starts there. No one ever taught you. Maybe you're good at it. Maybe you're okay at it. Maybe it's wildly uncomfortable. Either way, we got to get you great at it. This conversation about saying no is where we create movement and possibility. It doesn't seem like it because no sounds like a contradiction. How can it possibly be making more? I feel like I'm getting less. Well, I'll tell you. No lets us stay narrow. No lets us mind our attention. It lets us focus. No lets us do what we're great at because people will want you to do what they want you to do, not what you want to do. No lets us live on our terms. No lets us create a life that's intentional. No lets us design our future. When things grow, they require pruning, and we've got to chop away things that don't fit in the vision, in our future, maybe even in our present. This exercise is about learning to say no. It's not about mastering saying no. That will come with practice. This is about learning to say no. So what we have to do is recognize our yeses. Now, here's the thing. I got caught up because I said yes way too frequently. Like my yeses were really fast. I would just answer yes. Hey, can we meet? Yeah. Hey, can we hang out? Yeah. Hey, do you want to go out this weekend? Yeah. Hey, are you available next weekend? Yeah. And so many yeses made it very difficult for me to do the things that mattered, to do the things that really took my life forward or made me feel good about what I was pursuing. And I find this at every level. And I truly mean every level, from the person that's building a side hustle all the way to the guy that's worth $50 million. I've coached the entire spectrum, and no is always important. I thought that at different stages, the ability to say no happened less, or the need to say no happened less. And it changes at each new plateau. We just have to get good at saying no as a practice so that we can get to the next plateau, because the next plateau has more no's. Shocker, right? The next plateau, the next level for you has more no, meaning you're narrower, more focused, more aggressive, more discerning, more alive. There were just a number of experiences that taught me how much no mattered. I can remember saying yes to a buddy to go out one night. It was like a Wednesday or something. And as soon as I sent the text, man, like immediately, I was instantaneously regretful. I knew that I had said yes too fast. I didn't really want to go. It was going to wear me out. We always ended up having too many drinks, if not 6 too many drinks. And the next day was going to be a long morning because we were often out late talking. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the time. He's one of my best friends. I also knew that the next day was very heavy. Fast yes. Didn't really think about it. I can remember times where I said yes to an investor that might not have been the right choice. I can remember times where spending money might not have been the right choice. I was just fast to say yes and sign up for something that sounded really great. It wasn't really that great. I was fast to jump into conversations and schedule time with people that didn't really care about or respect my time and certainly didn't align with where I wanted to go. I said yes to selling old products. I used to teach people how to maneuver the credit card game and learn to travel the world for free. And I said yes to helping people do that more and more. And I found myself getting splintered and split. I'm not really producing. I'm feeling like I'm swirling. I'm on the merry-go-round. I'm not really moving forward, but I'm spinning fast. And you may resonate with all of that at every level. It requires more no's. So this exercise is really about recognizing a change. A change is necessary for you to get clear and be more influential. Here's what needs to change. We take your fast yeses, the things that are reactive, they're responsive, they're almost intuitive. You just say yes without really thinking about it. We take your fast yeses and we take your slow no's, because no is uncomfortable to start. And we invert that. We've got to get inversion to happen. We need fast no's and slow yeses. I'll tell you what that looks like. So rather than, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, no problem. We can meet next week. My calendar is open for the week of the 12th, whatever it is. We instead say, I'm focused right now. I'm happy to come back to this at the end of the month. But right now, I've got to stay really diligent and disciplined with my schedule. It's very polite, no. But that's what you get first. And the slow yeses sound like, Let me think about it. I'll get back to you next week. Hey, do you want to go away for this ski trip? Let me think about it. We might say, hey, do you want to go in on a property together? Let me think about it. When we get slow with our yeses and fast with our nos, we begin to see the world differently because now it's playing our game. We're not playing its game. And this process is really important. The exercise that you have in front of you, or I suppose you'll have to download it, is called learning to say no. I love this exercise because it makes the process more obvious. You don't have to be a master of it just yet. You just need to learn about it. So all we're going to do is start to identify two things. We're looking at, what did you say yes to this week? As a journaling exercise, can you write down the things that you said yes to? You may not even know you're saying yes. That's the thing. We've got to get really good at where are you saying yes without knowing it, without even being aware that you're saying yes. Sure is a yes. No problem is a yes. I got it is a yes. Like all these things are yeses. We just might not know that they're yeses. So we've got to start with, what do we say yes to? When you start to journal this exercise is incredibly simple. It's also incredibly powerful. When you start to recognize where you're saying yes, maybe you're saying yes to meetings you don't need to have. Maybe you're saying yes to old habits. Smoking a cigarette is a yes, right? If you're doing it, you're saying yes. Maybe you're saying yes to skipping the gym and sleeping late. You're saying yes to the snooze button. You're saying yes to bad food intake. You're saying yes to hanging out with the wrong people. You're saying yes to going to the bar rather than going to the museum and like learning, or staying home and working on your craft, your art, your business. When you start writing out on this left side of the column, this terrain here, when you start writing the things that you said yes to, you'll start to recognize that there's a lot of window for you to say no. The more we can get good at recognizing our yeses, the more we can start to pay attention to what has to go. And we've done a lot of work already on what it means to say no, for our clarity, for our focus, for our vision, for our future. This is a tool to begin practicing the no's. And look, I can't say no for you. I would love to. So you'll have to practice this. You'll have to get very good at saying no, and even just being aware that you can say no. It takes time. But at each level, more no's are necessary. Think about Tiger Woods. I don't know why that name popped to mind. Tiger Woods. When Tiger was first touring and thinking about companies and sponsors and all this, like, you could have a lot of yeses. Where you spend your time, where you hang out, what you do with your weekends when you're not golfing. But as he grew and escalated, Tiger couldn't just hang out anywhere. He couldn't just spend a lot of time. And I think that's true for any prolific athlete. Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. You can't just hang out anywhere again. You have to say no. You can't just go be around all the time. Tom Brady, in particular, the latter half of his career, he spent a lot of time talking about his rest, how much sleep he got. So he wasn't at parties. He wasn't at adventures. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Big time player, constantly saying no to going out so that he could go to the gym again. And then his teammates were all puzzled by this. You can look at business owners the same way. When we get to another level, we have to say no more frequently. No to meetings, no to people, no to distractions, no to setbacks. We just have to get good at that. So your job is to look at your yeses, go through day by day, maybe at the end of your day, come back to this exercise. You can do it 1,000 times if you want. What did I say yes to? What did I say yes to intentionally? What did I say yes to without really thinking? We tend to copy and paste what we did yesterday. So your yeses from yesterday become your yeses of today, which means your yeses of today will become your yeses of tomorrow. We need to mind that so that we can begin to remove things and start saying no. We want, again, fast no, slow yes. And it all begins with an exercise like this. Take this on. If you have trouble saying no, reach out to us, post in the group. We would love to give you a couple different scripts that you can use to say no. Tag us and I will add the document that I made that's a polite way to say no more frequently. Happy to give you those scripts because it takes a little bit of practice. So thank you for being a part of this, and say no more regularly. It's one way that we get out of our own way. Talk to you soon. Today, we're going to have a conversation about focus. Focus was always illustrated as time on task. Can you concentrate more or less? Can you stay in the zone? And I struggle with that. Maybe you do too. There was a moment in probably 2019, 2020, right before the pandemic hit, where I got so spread, I got so wide that almost the growth of one area of my life was costing me the other. It was directionally inefficient. I remember being frustrated and feeling like I wasn't making any progress. I was working hard, but things were just spinning. And maybe you felt that way. So this conversation today is designed to show you how to figure out if you're focused and what needs to change. This breakdown is an exercise we use with all of our coaching clients. We talk about this at retreats. It's a really simple but effective way. It's sophisticated in its simplicity to help you start making change and get you more focused. So let's start with this. The idea of focus